Hello everyone. Today on this video I want to continue with my Nephilim look like clowns idea, which I've been playing with now in a series. I mentioned in the last video that I was going to discuss Joe Rogan's experience with DMT and show you his encounter with the Joker Jester like clown beings, which are the Nephilim. The Nephilim which are now on the other side of the veil in the fractal matrix dimensional maze world for their spirit, their nefesh, their soul. They were put there after being wiped out about 4,000 years ago. Because they were never supposed to be created to begin with, their spirit wasn't from out of this world, it's actually very much a part of this world. And as a result, it never left this world when it died. Now, Joe Rogan, is known for talking about these things. This is what he does. He makes a living on his podcast talking about trippy psychedelic experiences and just outright bizarre concepts. But he seems to be, for lack of a better term, suspect. And from my angle, from a conspiracy theory type angle, obviously right here he has the third eye being shown on his logo, which is a false deception, a Luciferian deception, that we can become godlike ourselves. He's within this sun disk, which is an Egyptian motif, and again a Luciferian satanic motif to worship the sun god Saturn. He has the lightning bolts to represent Lucifer. Lucifer fell from heaven like lightning. And also right here, he literally seems to be looking like a clown. He has a slightly widened grin with the shadow here bearing his teeth, and in the background he has wavy red lines, a lot like the hair of a clown, would you say? I would say anyway. Maybe I'm going at a stretch here with this, but I'm just seeing what I see, and I say what I see. And yeah, if you want to take them also as sun rays, maybe, but if you just look closely, it could be a play on Pennywise the clown. I mean, hey, why not? Either way, we're gonna listen to his discussion that someone's compiled, where he discusses his experience with the jester beings on the other side. Now, he doesn't talk about them how I talk about them. He comes from a New Age perspective. He believes these entities are trying to teach him some special wisdom of some kind, perhaps from ignorance of where these things come from. He just takes what they say at word value. I mean, why would he have a reason to doubt them? From his perspective, it seems like they appear to be far more superior than he is. What I'm trying to say is these things are trapped in a poorer dimension than what we are currently living in. They've just convinced us it's better. And that comes with a whole lot of psychological reasons, for the lack of love for this world has been kind of brainwashed into us to want it to end and for the human race to need to disappear in some way. It comes with a whole other conspiratorial narrative and a whole lot more baggage. So, sticking it to the topic, let's just listen to what Joe Rogan has to say. Please don't take this as my worldview. I'm just sharing this with you and other Christians out there to understand just what this man is selling to the youth. And based on my own research, that these things are demons he's talking to. And I think people have known this for years anyway in our circles. Let's just listen to how truly dangerous this can be. I thought it ironic. First of all, the video I found where it had this compiled is this guy called Jin Heyoka. And the Heyoka tribe I've discussed in previous videos, as these Joker Jester type beings that look like this. With the black and white fractal lines, and it's part of a tribe that has this Jester character. And here it says Jin Heyoka, and Jin is just the Arabic term for demon. So demon Heyoka, same thing. But either way, this person's presenting his talk, so let's listen.
when you do DMT, you're like, whoa, reality dissolves and you're there. Like the last one that I had was very strange. Like there was these jesters that were giving me the finger. They kept giving me the finger. I'm like, what is this about? And there's this weird fractal thing that's constantly going on. But every time I do it, it seems like these lessons that are wrapped up in these visions with communicating entities, whatever the fuck they are, whether they're figments of your imagination or whether they're real. There's always lessons in there. They look like jokers. They have like Joker masks on. And they
you see them when your eyes are open or your eyes are closed?
Your eyes are closed. You see them way more visual. The visuals are way more potent than anything you could ever see with your eyes open. They give you the finger. They're spinning around, giving you the finger, and they
spiteful little bastards.
Well, they're having fun with you. They're letting you know, like, stop. I think it's their way of telling you not to take yourself seriously.
What do you think?
Look where we are. Like, you take yourself seriously, dude. We're in another dimension, and we're fucking mocking you.
But you're creating it, right? Your brain's creating it.
I don't know. Yeah, I would think so.
You think there's really something out there? Or?
I don't know. Like someone say, like maybe it's all in your head when you trip. Maybe it's not really happening. Okay, maybe. However, the experience is exactly the same. If you really are going into another dimension, you really are experiencing love in its purest form and forgiveness and just 100% wisdom. Like all the bullshit and all the flaws of your thinking and all of the ridiculous aspects of the world around you revealed in some wonderful dance by jesters who are giving you the finger in a never-ending complex geometric pattern. Even if it's not real, it's still the same experience.
Sure.
Like if you really do go to that dimension and you really do experience these incredibly enlightened beings and they really do instill upon you wisdom and you really do hold on to a few grains of that sand that slips through your finger, you hold on to a little bit of it while you're there. You got handfuls, but you just hold on to a little bit. It's still the same experience.
Yeah, that shit's real, son.
It's real easy to dismiss and say it's all in your imagination. But for someone who has experienced it, it's very difficult to accept. And it's very difficult for you to say that you know for sure that it's all your imagination if you haven't experienced it. I appreciate from an intelligence standpoint someone's perspective on it that hasn't experienced it, but the reality is until you know what you're talking, until you've actually gone into that thing and know how titanically alien it is, you're really just saying things. You're just making noises with your mouth. There's no way you could know. You're not there anymore. You go to a different place. You experience a different reality.
More real than what we normally interpret as reality.
That's the most fucked up part about it. Is it's so much crisper and more vibrant and brighter, and then reality itself seems muted in some odd way. These gestures were all going "fuck you." I was like, why are they going "fuck you"? And I was trying to figure out what it is. It's like it's almost an inoculation to hostility. Like they're like letting you like, what? Why are you even taking this in? Like, you know, why are you even concentrating on that? This is pointless. There's so much more. That's what they tell you when you do DMT. That's what those things are doing when they're giving you the finger. They're like, you fucking idiot. You take yourself seriously? One of my trips, one of the most profound ones, it was like these, like, almost like children that were in this dimension. Children that were, like, infinitely more intelligent than me, but behaved like children and communicated like children. And they would say, I love you 600,500,000 times. Like something like a kid would say. Like, I love you infinity. I love you 50,700,000. Like, you know, like that kind of shit. They would say that, and then they would go, look at this. And they kept saying, look at this. And every time they would say, look at this, they would show you something that was so impossibly beautiful. Like, tears were, like, flowing down my face. Because I was conscious. I had my eyes closed, and I was seeing this, and I was conscious, but I was crying because it was so beautiful. And then they would say it again. I love you 600,500,000 times. Look at this. And then they would show you something even more insane, like 1,000,000 times more insane than what you just saw.
What were they
didn't make any sense. It was just, you can't describe it. It just, the fractal nature of the universe embodied in imagery, which also had meaning and love connected to it. So when you were seeing it, you weren't just seeing something beautiful, but you were feeling it. And it was like almost like it was running through your soul, like it was cleansing you as you saw it. Like everything that I saw made me every time I saw it, every new thing made me love people more, made me love life more, made me more appreciative, made me want to hug more. And then I thought that was over, and then would go, look at this. And then you'd get hit with a new wave. And it was just overwhelming. I'm just crying. Like, I couldn't hold it in. It was just so unbelievably intense. Fuck, man. I've had trips that stuck with me for 5 or 6 years, where every day I would think about that trip for 5 or 6 years.
Tryptamine, hallucinogens. These are
Okay, we'll cover Terence McKenna another time. But this guy, you know, as he said, whether or not, he liked to bring up near the beginning, you know, whether or not it's real or it's made up in my own mind, it's still real, man. And you know, that's that kind of thinking which gets nowhere in my eyes. So these things are clowns, and you're not the only one who sees them. Everyone sees the same thing for us. The reason they're all going to the same place, which is a real place, and they are interacting with entities which are real entities which have a history and a reason for being there. They're not just an accidental occurrence because of some melded mind mashup of collective consciousness and thought making. These aren't figments of imagination manifested reality. These are real entities which were created due to the simple cause and effect method. These things aren't your friends, you know, as Joe Rogan liked to kind of imply. You know, these things don't want to help you learn something. They don't love you. I mean, I think it's interesting when he says something like, I love you 600 million whatever times. Like, they can't say the words, I love you. They have to add that on the end to make it no longer meaningful. These things are tricksters. That's what they do. They don't really care about you. They're not trying to teach you anything. You've stumbled into their realm, and they know you're ignorant. So they just mess with you. It's simple. Get you to worship them, and then you'll easily allow them to enter your body because you're completely naive and don't know where the intention of these things are. And they'll convince you it's all about love and teaching you stuff while systematically destroying the lives of you and all the loved ones around you. As they always do, from experience, millions of experiences throughout history. That's what all these things want to do. You know, I'm not going to apologise to some oversensitive hippies who may be really, really offended when I say these things. You know, I was the easily offended, extreme, ultra-liberal, left-wing, hippie, psychedelic tripper for about 5 years. And I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm sorry. And people like Joe Rogan are just fooling people into interacting with purely evil entities. Perhaps intentionally. I think he knows what he is doing. It's just his fans who are complete and totally ignorant. I mean, look at this guy with his pictures on the Joe Rogan Experience. You know, you've seen these things. You know, he's pushing this stuff. With the third eye activation and nonsense like that. Yeah. These things aren't good. Stop trying to talk to them and contact them and get wisdom and information from them. Why don't you just ask them some real questions if you must go there? Like, who is Jesus Christ and what is his relation to you? And watch them. Just watch their reactions. They will attack you hideously, if not flee, if you have some form of authority using that name. Your ignorance is what fails you in this. People perish for lack of knowledge, and man, ignorance abounds when it comes to this topic. People are so clueless as to what they're messing with. I mean, like, people know nothing about what they're dealing with here. And it's all biblical. It's all completely biblical. It's incredible. Anyway, I am ranting now. I can hear that. I'm sorry. But this just gets me angry. This stuff is really powerful and dangerous, and I've seen it, I've done it, and I get it, you know. But people need to be at least wise of what they're really dealing with. Don't lie to yourself and give yourself some moral relativistic explanation. That is just gibberish. Ultimate truth does exist. Opinions are just opinions. I'm sorry, I have to say it. Make this loud and clear. There is only one truth out there, And we're not going to get anywhere if we're all mollycoddling each other and not arguing about these things and too afraid to step on each other's ideas to get to the solution. People are going to get offended when this truth comes out because they like their demons, they like their gods, they like to go trip in these places, and they've been looked after by these monsters. But the end result will always be the same, and it ends in pain and suffering. Every time. These things are not your friends. You have so much more here than you could ever have there. Anyway, please comment, like, and subscribe, and thanks again for listening.
I want you to get together. I want you to get together.